Hi Internet, it's Jason here from Godlike Productions, and it's been a while. So I'm just going to run through the new H9000 Omni channel strip that I am releasing initially for subscribers, but later on public will be getting it. I have been getting a few algorithms done for the subscribers. Some of those will come out either as paid or free products. Let me put this on here, hopefully hear me a little bit better. And yeah, so you can see behind me the studio is in the process of being set up. This is in the new studio over on the east coast of Australia. I'm up on the Sunshine Coast now. So yeah, slowly, it's not been as easy to get up and running as I would have hoped, as is always the way. Many of the cables don't reach, or yeah, they're different configurations. So yeah, but I have just got the speakers up and running, so I can hear, and yeah, getting there. Anyway, we're going to run through this new channel strip. As I said, it will initially be available for subscribers, but I will make this one available for free to the general public as well. So let's just jump over and have a look. Alrighty, essentially what we've got is a stereo channel strip, and I have built it I've sort of modeled the EQ, but well, not modeled them so much, but I have parameterized them off the H9000J in terms of these ranges and the bandwidths. Yeah, bandwidths, and also the gain structure. I haven't put these multipliers in, but you can choose between different shapes. So I'll run through them all in a second. It's also got it has got dynamics in it, and it's got it has got a low pass and high pass filter in them as well, and they can be reconfigured similar sort of way to this. So let's just have a look, run through it. So at the start, what we've got is probably should move it. Let me move this over here. That way. I should be looking at you while I'm looking at the screen, which is probably a better idea. Okay. So what we've got up here is the bypass 1 and 2. So this just bypasses the entire plugin. Or it leaves it going out to the 1 and 2 mix outputs. Now, I am intending to do a 4-channel version of this if I can get it to run. It should do. It shouldn't be too massive and too taxing on the H9000's processor. So I should be able to get four channels of these, and what I'll then have is I'll have 3 options. So one, you can just bypass a whole lot, so the inputs will just go straight to the outputs. The second one is the inputs will go through the processing and then to the outputs. So you'll have basically 8 inputs and 8 outputs, but they'll be in stereo pairs. I may do mono channels, but it's going to take up a lot of screen real estate, but we'll put a pin in that. Might come back to that one. And then there'll be a third version that will let you mix down to 2 channels, so you have 4 stereo inputs and 1 stereo output, similar to what I did with the Mixer, the Mixer Pro version that I had. All right, we've got the routing here. So we've got 3 different types of routing. So you can have drive through the dynamics to the EQ. You have the dynamics to EQ to drive, and then you'll have EQ drive to dynamics. And you'll see that the screen or the user interface reorganizes itself, and so it's always whatever you've got selected is going to be set to go in order. So it will go from left to right and from top to bottom. So it will go through this way. This also goes the same. So the filter, the EQ section, the filter and the EQ are together, and which is the same as how the SSL 9000J works. But you can put the filters before or after the EQ. and again it'll reorganize to do that. Each of the individual components can be bypassed. It doesn't take them out, it leaves the parameters up there still, but it does, you can take them in and out, and those are basically hard bypasses. And where it's possible, I turn off the processing for those as well, which I can do for the drive circuit and also the filters and EQ, so they'll get pulled out as well. Okay, let's move on. So we'll go back to the default. So we've got the drive setting. This is a drive straight out of the Mixer Pro, and again you've got the same, basically the same levels of, or the same saturation types available, and the drive amount. The omnipressor is set up, and I have provided an Omni start, which is I find it a useful starting point for the omnipressor. This is not the most intuitive compressor in the world to use, but it's very, very flexible, and it can be very, it can be quite savage when you use it. But it has got its own sideband low cut filter, which works on the low band, and then again the threshold is where the omnipressor starts having an impact, and then again attack and release is how fast the envelope happens, and then you've got this function. Now the function is set up the same as on the omnipressor, so if you go up it's downward compression, and then you get down, I think it's a downward expansion, and then on the left hand side you've got upward compression, or maybe it's the other way around, I don't know. Have a look at the omnipressor manual, it's set up the same as that, but this is one of the first things I put in there, and I used a lot of the code that Eventide already had. So this one wasn't completely designed by me, but I did modify it. One of the things that is different though, and what that has changed, is that this is a true stereo omnipressor. The sidechain is summed stereo to a mono sidechain, but the signal path is pure stereo. So there's basically two of these sitting behind the scenes. You've got some meters here for input, gain reduction, and the output gain, and then you've got the limits on the attenuation and gain limits. Okay, next we move on to the filters. So we've got a low cut and a high cut. Again, these can go before or after the EQ, and then you've got the EQ bands. So each of these bands can be bypassed. The EQ, this will pull all four of these bands out in one go, but you can bypass individual bands if you don't need them. You've got types, you've got high shelf, the classic peak, and the modern peak, which are H9000 standard models that they have in there. I prefer the modern peak, it seems to have better low end presence than the classic, but so the classic's from the H3000 era, and the moderns are an upgraded version of the EQ. Again, for the mid EQs, you don't have shelves, you can do classic peak or modern peak, and again frequency, bandwidth, and gain, all fairly standard. The gain here, that's your master fader essentially, and then you've got a balance control as well. So I'll put it on, we'll have a little bit of a listen to see how it sounds. Unfortunately, I haven't got this wired into the ATEM for recording yet. I've only just run the stereo outputs out of the sound card and MADI, so I still have a lot of wiring to do, and because we've got a new layout, cables don't reach, so I've got to make lots of cables and stuff as well, and the studio's in a bit of chaos, but we're getting there. We have sound. It's all good. Alright, we'll have a listen and we'll see how it sounds, but it's going to be over the microphone, so apologies for that. I will do another demo sometime in the future where I'll run through this. Hi guys, that's about it for now. I will get back to you soon. As I said, I've got some more stuff on the boil at the moment. Some more channel strips that I'm looking at doing, the bit transgate. I can't remember what else. I will be doing commissions again sometime in the near future. Probably not for a little while. Probably not until after the end of April. I've got a lot of stuff I need to do here, and I've got heaps of work. I've got to do some travel for work as well. So it's going to be busy times for me. And yeah, so anyway, it's good to be back, good to be producing stuff and getting things back on, back into your machines. And I'll see you guys later. So thanks again for all the support. Massive thanks to all of the subscribers, buy me a coffee. There will be a link down below. And yeah, anything else you want, reach out, make comments. I'm quite responsive and like hearing what you guys are doing with all the plugins. So I'll see you guys later, and yeah, hopefully it won't be too long.